All right, welcome back to Spearfactor. Today we're with local gun builder, Nick from Nitro Gun Co. Nick, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Thanks for
Good
coming
to see you.
Thanks for having me out here.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, so as always when we do this, I kind of like to get into your background, like with the ocean even. But even before spearfishing, like how did you get into this whole thing? Like, I know your brother surfs and you surf, right?
Yeah. We grew up surfing. My father grew up surfing at like Pillbox and Solana Beach, and that was his lifestyle, you know, a little Mexican surfer.
Yeah.
And he turned me on to it. My mom was a surfer, and I mean, we started surfing at like 5, so we were born in the water.
Right. And your brother, is he like O'Neill? What does he do?
So he is the team manager, and he also manages like all their social media and how they deliver new products with their surfers with O'Neill. So
he's a lot of marketing
traveling.
stuff?
Yeah, all marketing.
I saw he got that wave last in Panama.
Oh, yeah, the wave of the winter in Panama. That thing was...
Yeah.
Amazing. The travel that he gets to do is just, I picked the wrong career. He'll be in Hawaii for 2 months just to work.
Yeah, getting paid.
At the O'Neill house.
Nice.
And then get to surf. And, I mean, I would imagine it's a little bit like babysitting too.
Yeah.
But
he was a professional surfer before, right?
Yeah, like semi-professional.
I remember seeing his name in some of the local contests and things like that. So, all right, enough about your brother, though. So you grew up surfing, obviously. That was your first introduction kind of in the ocean. When did you start spearfishing?
I started with like a Hawaiian sling when I was probably 14 or 15. And then I stayed with that only in the summer when the water was warm and the waves were bad. And I did that until I was about 21. Okay. And then dropped diving in general for a different career, and after
well, don't gloss over that. Let's talk about that. What career would that be?
I fought professionally in mixed martial arts for about 8 years, and I had quite a few injuries, so I had to retire from that. Yeah, it was tough.
One of my buddies, I don't know if you know, Phone Booth, he works for a Moya brand, Geese, but like his nickname, his first name's Chris, but he dives too though, he's from Guam, and we were out, San Clemente, talking about that, and we were like both talking, because I used to box for the Army team, and like we talk about injuries and how, I don't know, was it worth it? I don't know, I kind of like doing it, you know?
Oh, I love doing it. I love anything that you could do. And that's exactly why it transitioned so well over to diving. It's what can you push your body to do, you know? Your mind's going to quit before your body does. Yeah. So if you can get your mind as strong, it's not necessarily like that in diving. Your body's usually going to quit before your mind does. You'll black out or something, but
your mind kind of controls your body. Your mind
controls your body and your fear, and if you're a beginner diver, that most people can hold their breath for 30 seconds, but your mind's telling you that you can't. So that was really fun, that aspect of challenging yourself. I'm a pretty safe diver. I wouldn't say I ever dive over a minute 30 or anything like that. I'm just...
Yeah, I try not to.
I don't care. Most of the fish I shoot are like 45 seconds, so yeah. Yeah,
I was talking to a friend about that, as far as diving goes, and it depends. It's all up to you, right? Like, so if you're pushing yourself, when I was in doing a lot of freedive training, it was like, I'm here to specifically practice freedive. So I will push myself there with people watching me, with the right setup.
Absolutely. With the right partners.
With the right partners, people that aren't, really, it's important. And, but when I'm spearfishing, that's not the time to be doing that.
Exactly.
I go down, takes 30 seconds maybe to get to the bottom, depends how deep I'm diving. if a fish doesn't show up in like 20 or 30 seconds, I'm out.
I'm over it.
Yeah. It's just because you can
to be on the
sustain
surface,
that.
you know, that puts you on the surface longer.
Yeah, because what had happened to me before was like I saw a fish at like 30 seconds, shot it, and then the reel or something, a little thing, like overstayed my welcome by about 10 seconds. And that was enough to give me like a throat squeeze, because I can tell it was like spazzing out, because I knew like, and I started to get like dizzy when I got to the top. But yeah, so I don't need to be going. Yeah, there's no need.
I really enjoyed the breathing aspect of it. I started diving a lot more actively towards the end of my career. I would say it was like 2 years, the tail end, when I was fighting for Bellator. The breathing helped tremendously. I mean, you have 60 seconds in between 5-minute rounds. 5 minutes is a long time. And then to back it up with another 5-minute round, the breathing exercise carried over so much in fighting and in getting your heart rate down. It was pretty amazing what the mind can do, and you know, the right technique of breathing. And
I feel it's one of the most underestimated things that people just don't even think about, or
absolutely.
Like, I even got my wife recently in this breathing technique thing, and she's like, whoa. And it's funny, to someone that dives a lot, like we all do, it's not like, I'm like, oh, that's just belly breathing, that's circular breathing, it's what you're doing. Like, so what's happening? And she's like, oh, I feel this and this. I'm like, so what's happening is you're hyper oxygenating your blood doing this, and then, but if you switch to this kind of style of breathing, you can, you know, do this or do that. And it's funny how much control just your breath has over your entire body. There's
a good book that I read that pretty much sparked everything to learn the breathing technique, called Breathology. And when I first picked the book up and started reading it, the first few chapters were all that yoga, blah, 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 mind, Zen, whatever. The stuff that, for me, I'm just like, you go Zen yourself into whatever universe you want. You know, it's just not my lifestyle. It's not.
We talk about, look, I'm a meathead.
I don't relate to that.
For all your like earthy stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just trying to get like.
But you get past that, and then he really goes over how it could bring up your mood, energy. How 99% of the people out there don't breathe properly, and it's true. It's basically lazy breathing.
It's all chest.
It's all chest
exchange
breathing.
of molecules, or is like minimal at best. So my wife has anxiety, and she did this training with my friend Colin Smith that I kind of talked to last week. And it was like, realized that she was just breathing with her chest, and then that was causing the hypoxia or hypercapnia. I can't remember at this point. I only dove for like 20 years for work, but anyways, it was caused, like, she wasn't getting a good exchange, and it was causing it to get higher and higher and higher until she finally has a panic attack. It was when she started belly breathing. It was getting that nice CO2 off, O2 on, and like, you know, air on, and then she was like able to calm herself down. It's so easy.
It's amazing. Watch fighters, when you watch the UFC, sitting in a corner, and watch when they are breathing, it's all chest breathing. And it's like they could do so much more and recover so much quicker if they change their way of breathing habits. And then so that's kind of why I fell into it. And my back, I've had multiple surgeries on my back, and it just kind of came to a point where I'm getting old enough where I can give this up, and I made some money, and I decided to invest it into something that I liked, which was woodworking, and I kind of started building Spearguns. And
well, isn't it amazing? I feel like you can't do certain things 100% forever. Everybody says that. But you can do other things for 100%. So if you're a type A kind of person, like I feel like kind of we are, where it's like, whatever I'm going to do, I'm going 100% at it, 100%. And I'm going to like be obsessive about it to where it causes problems in my marriage half the time. Like my wife's like, hey babe, like,
absolutely, same here. I mean, I don't sleep at night because the new double roller concept that I built, I probably was sleeping 4 hours a night for about a month, just building this gun over and over and over again in my head. And luckily it ended up working out, but
I'm so glad you said that, though.
I am that person.
Yeah, I don't know. It's ADD.
Takes their work home.
Yeah.
And honestly, like once you learn to just live with it, you can get some of your best work done when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
And doing that. I mean, I've built multiple guns in my head while I was supposed to be sleeping.
So,
and I have pen and paper and a notepad that sits right next to my nightstand, and that's what I do. I'll wake up and I'll sketch it. I'm obsessed with the perfection of building whatever I'm going to build.
Yeah, honestly, like it's a relief that someone as experienced as you building guns has that problem, because I told myself I built my last gun. I said I was not going to build any more guns because I can't sleep. Yeah. Because I'm like, how am I going to do that line? Because it was that double roller that I made that you saw. It was like, oh no, it wasn't.
That was before I even started deciding to do double rollers. Yeah. I was like, I hate double rollers. You double roller people out there,
They are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, you're making me do too much work. Yeah. But
I like it. There's no recoil. I mean, I honestly can shoot my double roller with one hand, even with a kicker band.
Yeah.
It's cool. I think it's unique. But I mean, when you think about two-stage roll, like flipping roller or rolling, you're loading like 5 bands on this thing.
Yeah, you're doing the same amount of loading. Yeah.
But I really like it because it's mine. But I was building that one, and it's the same thing. And then I built this recent one. I wanted just a standard 3-band light blue water gun, and I didn't sleep because I was like, how am I going to ensure all these little problems that come up? I keep thinking that the process will be simplified every time I make a gun. Mm-hmm. And for me, because I make them so infrequently, it's not. Every time I want to make it different, right? I want to make this better. So it's like, I could wrap it in carbon fiber. I could do this. But what happens is I don't sleep. I wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I sit there and I think about what I can do to like change this or this problem or whatever it is. And so the last time I built a gun, I was like, I'm good. I'm not going to build any more guns because it's going to cause too many problems because I get crabby and tired and I get stressed and I have a real job.
Your wife's pissed off because you're keeping her up at night.
Yeah, because she's like, I can see the glow from your phone and Yeah. I mean, last night I woke up and I don't know what happened. My mind started racing, and I have a bunch of friends that do comedy. And I was like, and he keeps trying to get me a comedy. And I was like, yeah, dude, I do not need another thing. Okay? But I started thinking of it. I was like, oh, that's really funny.
It's like, those boxes up there are all different sports that I decided I want to be good at.
Yeah. It's like, because I have a back surgery too. So I was doing a lot of jiu-jitsu. And then I started I was like, I'm going to train like I'm 18 again. And then herniated my disc in my back. And that never happened before. So I had back surgery, and then I went back to jiu-jitsu, and I herniated my neck. And then it took a while to get, but what it did was it really taught me if I want to stay with the jiu-jitsu game, I have to slow down and be smart about it. Yeah. I can still do it.
Yeah, anyone can still do it. I think
but I can't go like, I'm going to try to go to like train 3 times a day or this or that. Because I just can't do, I don't have time for that. But what I can do
body hurts and doesn't recover as fast. And
I feel like I was in a car accident every day, you can go 100% until you're 83. Doesn't matter until you're dead. Yeah. You just gotta find.
It's just that 100% is gonna.
It's gonna vary.
It's gonna drop.
Yeah.
At your speed, it's just your speed's gonna drop throughout.
Maybe I'll start golfing
each decade.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's like the worst movement for your body. That's like the worst body mechanics for any human being. The body's not supposed to move that way.
Twisting, jerking,
rotating that.
Yeah. So I kind of just same thing. Like started going obsessed. So that's great. I mean, MMA. The MMA thing is funny because if you haven't ever tried to do a 5-minute round or wrestle 6 minutes, because I wrestled in high school and stuff too, but like you're doing 3 of those or 5 of those back to back, like good God. If you I would encourage anybody, if you want to get in shape, do cardio, go to a jiu-jitsu class and roll some rounds, and you'll find in a minute probably, especially in the beginning, you'll be so gassed.
Working yourself up to 3 minutes is like a lifetime.
Wrestling's kind of weird too, because it's like 100% for 6 minutes. Where jiu-jitsu is like you learn it's 20%, then 100. Yeah. It's 20% or 80%. Controlled. Yeah. Fighting for inches. Yeah.
But fighting, someone's punching you back in the face, so it's like you.
Was it Joe Rogan says? You take a black belt, punch him in the face, he becomes a brown belt.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be true, especially in the early phases, but nowadays everyone's so well-rounded.
Yeah.
They're good at taking punches and
another little message. So to all the younger guys, whatever, any of you guys that if you ever, it's funny when you actually train, you realize how much you don't know.
Oh, but there's always someone better than you.
Realize how much you know compared to somebody that just walks off the street.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like
it gives you a sense of confidence.
It does. Where like I've had it happen a couple of times in my life, where people square up at bars when you're younger or whatever.
Oh, I got the best thing to do for that.
And you're like, and then you within the first 2 seconds of him squaring up, you're like, I'm gonna kill this guy. Yeah. Because you have no idea what you're doing. And on the flip side, that's why I care, like, because some of these black belts that I've seen in jiu-jitsu tournaments, and we're getting into jiu-jitsu, but like, they look like professors. You would have no idea until you woke up, an hour later with like a broken arm or just choked out, embarrassed.
And your esophagus is all sore for a month.
Yeah. So
if you are trained or, when you do start training, there's a huge amount of like responsibility as well as respect for the sport and just not wanting to do that kind of stuff. But you always do get that arrogant bastard that is going to come at you. Yeah. And so my case that I learned from my manager, who's a great friend of mine, awesome dude, and he told me this when I was younger. He's like, bro, all you need to do is tell the guy, okay, I'll fight you, but we're going to go to the bank right now. You're going to pull out $1,000. I'm going to pull out $1,000 and the winner will take all. When it comes down to it, no one's going to freaking fight for $1,000. I mean, you will because you're trained. You know that you're going to win this money. Yeah. And there's no reason to take the risk. And it's really funny how much it does check that arrogant person. Most likely he doesn't have $1,000 in his bank account. Right.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, exactly. It works every time. I actually had it happen one time at Genie's in Carlsbad. I mean, this was a long time ago.
Yeah. I was
excited. I was like, I'm going to make $1,000 tonight. I'll do it.
Yeah. It's funny though, because you realize through fighting, like, organized fighting too, where it's like, oh, you win the match, but you're beat to shit.
Oh,
like,
yeah. And then you get suspended. Fun. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole athletic commission. You get cuts. I mean, the minimum suspension is 30 days. So you get a cut, it goes to 90 days, you get concussion. It's like a bit longer. Right. It's organized. They take, you don't feel good after fights.
No.
You don't feel good.
I got a really good concussion. I ended up in the hospital and actually ended all of my contact sports in college, which at the time was devastating to me because I was like, that's what I do. Yeah. What am I supposed to do now? Like, I was recruited to play football. I was on the boxing team. And then, this is when I was at the military academy. And I got super depressed because I was working out like 3 times a day or whatever. Like literally wake up in the morning, run, go to class.
Purpose.
Go to practice, then get done with practice, lift weights. I was like, you live for it. And then they told me like, you should not ever, you've had so many concussions and this is it, like you're done. And I became so depressed. And I think if I would have known now what I knew back then, which is kind of what we're talking about, is like, I would have just immediately switched to something else. Yeah. But in my narrow vision at that time, I was like, I wanted to go special forces. I wanted to do all this stuff. Yeah. Right now, I want to be so prepared for battle, and I want to like be this invincible guy. Where it was like, now I'm just I can't do any of that, and that's what I defined myself since I was, in high school, football player, wrestler, whatever. And I tell my daughters the same shit. I go, my middle daughter is like, I'm a basketball player. She travels basketball, does all this stuff. She like lives and breathes it, loves it, loves it, loves it. And I tell them, and this is for everybody out there too, I feel like, I tell them, look, what are you going to do when your senior year of college, say you play in college, and that Friday you have your game, and then Monday, now your season's over. You didn't get drafted in the WNBA or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very likelihood, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
There's a huge, What are you going to do then? Because now you're just Haley Whitman, the student, or Haley Whitman, the person, right? You're not Nick Garcia, the MMA fighter. Well, who the hell is Nick Garcia? That's been your life for so long. So that kind of led you to getting back on topic into gun building, or no, woodworking, you said.
Yeah, well, it was gun building. I always wanted to start a company of some sorts, and then I was like, well, I'll just take my name that I built for myself in there, which doesn't relate anything to spearfishing, but use my nickname as a brand and try to build a brand and just build a really good spear gun. I did years and years and years of woodworking, and when I looked at what the guns that were being produced at that time, which was 8 years ago, I felt like I could build a better gun, and I started building guns for friends, and then more friends wanted guns, and I was like, I better start charging for these now, because I'm tired of working for free.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and it is really rewarding, though. I love seeing people shoot fish, trophy fish, any fish, or just hear responses back from people on how they enjoy the product. Yeah. Which is pretty much everyone that buys a gun.
Yeah.
So
that's the best part. Nice. I made that double roller, and one of the guys, Ren Spiro, like the local guy, I guess, from Vista, he shot it to unload it or whatever in the water, and he shot it, and he was like, oh, wow, that thing is so smooth. And it's like, I'm not a gun builder, a woodworker, but like that was like the proudest moment. And I've killed a lot of damn fish with that gun, but I was just like, that was the proudest moment, because it was like somebody else appreciated it. Yeah. Like, cool. It's like a child that you just, your work, you know what I mean? Because especially all the time and effort that goes into that stuff. And, for the beginner gun builder, it doesn't have to be pretty, but it's just got to function. I feel like,
It does. I always warn beginner gun builders when they get into it, expect the gun to cost you more than what you're going to actually put into it the first time around before you really figure out all the kinks. And it just costs time. Time for me is money, so
literally because you spend an hour like setting everything up. This is what I remember doing not that long ago. I built my first gun with my friend Colin 18 years ago. To do a small percent
of a gun.
To do one cut on the track. And then you got to redo it. You got to pour the epoxy, reset it. But that's where the time is in all the prep, because you're one cut away from wasting like 30 hours of work. Yeah. Everybody knows that sound, and you're like, oh, Jesus.
That's why I use specialty bits.
Yeah, it's worth it.
I'm huge on expensive specialty bits. But at the amount of guns that I'm producing now, doing like between 120 and 150 guns a year now, and I've created templates and ways to make my work more efficient, faster, and take the human error out of it, because I still am doing this myself. So I can make plenty of mistakes. Yeah. And I've hacked beautiful guns up at the finishing stages of the woodworking portion of it, and it pissed me off.
That's how I always end up with guns, because I'll do that, and I'm like, I can't send this blank to my buddy. Yeah. Or like one thing that helps too is I was making blanks because I just had extra wood, so I just made 6 blanks at a time. Why make one? Because all the measurements are pretty much similar. Yeah. So I did the blanks, and I laminated up like 6 of them at a time, and then I was like, hey, does anybody want any blanks? It was like,
that's how I do it. I do usually 5 to 6 guns, and I'll do 5 to 6 guns of a specific model in each run.
Yeah.
And then 2 of those guns will be just in case guns, in case I mess up and I can't sell the gun to someone, because for me it's imperfect. I mean, it could be as small as, the bit shakes on you and cuts in a little too deep or something like that, and I just can't move it. I won't sell it to someone. It's got to be perfect every time.
That's the problem. I have friends that have asked me to make guns for them, same kind of how yours started, and I'm not like a gun maker. I'm just a dude that literally YouTube stuff, and I have access to tools, and they wanted me to make them a tuna gun, and I've referred them to you, actually, like a couple guys, but I don't know if they even buy guns, but I was like, I don't feel comfortable taking money and making a gun. Like, dude, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, it scares the shit out of me now, too. I still do a $300 deposit, which is half of material cost. And then I wait until the gun is completed to take full payment. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And then I send them photos of the process and everything, make sure they like it, and then it's...
The one guy has a really good blog, Ocean. I think he's in the East Coast. It's his Instagram page is like Ocean. It's like AUS or A. He's got a really good blog on a step-by-step build that he made where he made a hybrid. I got to look it up, but man, like it's step-by-step, but it's like complicated. There's just so many steps. Yeah,
go look at that. I mean, I haven't seen it, but go look at that and then decide if you want to build a gun.
I think it's like it's like, it's AUSHAN or something like that.
You know what? I've seen his YouTube stuff of him building guns.
Yes, yeah.
And he does like the time.
Right, because you know how the East Coast guys do it. When it gets wintertime, they're like, all right, building guns.
Yeah.
Because that's just, it's game over for them. So but he had the step-by-step thing, and I was like, okay, I see how he does it. But I mean, on some of these cuts, you're making 3 adjustments every time. Like when I think per cut, to go a little deeper, a little deeper, a little deeper, a little deeper. Oh, you know what? This bit it won't reach to actually go through the wood. Like I think I called you about that. Yeah, like where I was trying to do the line release. I was like, man, it's just not like how do you do that or whatever, like it's just
there's so many little tricks in the trade, and it's so frustrating too I mean, it would be nice for me to put all that information out to the public to do it, but at the same time it's like 8 years
it's your process
of studying, not sleeping,
so that's fun,
figuring everything out. And this is a concept that I learned for myself, and it's not like something that came in an hour's time. Right. This is 8 years of, education and figuring things out. Yeah. A lot of money wasted in R&D, and it's like expects you just to give you their information.
And I think that kind of goes to the whole thing, and I think people kind of take it the wrong way sometimes, where it comes to like giving up fishing spots or fishing secrets, or and it's not necessarily that people are assholes basically, and they're like, no kid, but I don't think guys understand. Like I swam around that kelp bed 20 years ago now for 5 years without seeing a white sea bass, like one. Yeah. And I literally just would go out randomly. I knew nothing. There was no social media, and I would blindly swim. And finally, like my friend Colin, I would always hit him up like, "Hey, so what do I do?" Like, And even another guy, John Wall, I'm like, they were talking about it. And like, you just don't see him when you first start diving because you don't know what you're looking. Your eye's not trained to look for it. But literally spent. I mean. My wife would make fun of me. My mother would make fun of me. Dude, it's like I never, like the least most successful, spear fisherman. But I learned a lot by doing that and putting that time in. And I'd love to help people get their first fish and the basic rules, but at the same time, and I will, for the most part, but at the same time, it's like, man, I hope you guys really appreciate it because like I froze my ass off for a long time and actually stopped diving for a couple years too because I just got over it and I didn't have a boat and I was like, you know what, fuck white sea bass, over this.
Oh, I'm at that point. Like,
yeah,
first time I dived for white sea bass, one day out of the season, I'm like, okay, I'm over it.
Yeah, and it's kind of getting that way for the bluefin. I think I dove 3 times for bluefin this year. I was like, because I realized like if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. But the bluefin, God, dude, sometimes they're just such pain in the asses. Spend so much money in fuel.
I got lucky this year. I went out one time this year and got 150 pound bluefin, and I was like, I'm done.
See what I mean? I do the same thing. Like once I get I have my goal, and if I hit that, I'm done. Because I really like diving on reefs and diving.
I love
it. And
diving Baja. It's just my favorite.
Because you never know what you're going to find. You have such a variety.
Much fun. Yeah. It's not just yellowtail, just white sea bass, just bluefin. I mean, when you're going for bluefin, you're going for bluefin.
That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you may not even get in the water. Or get a chance to get in the water.
Yeah, you may not even see a bluefin.
And you just spent $250 in gas. Driving around.
Yeah. Those guys are pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass. But the day you get that triple digit one, it's a pretty good feeling.
Oh, yeah. I love seeing people shoot bluefin on the Bomber Series guns. It's really rewarding. I love it. I like it just as much as going out there and shooting the fish myself, for sure. I mean, I dove for bluefin one time the entire season, and the rest was just living vicariously through guys who bought guns this year or 4 years ago that are still shooting bluefin.
Well, you were working on the Guardian boat, right, for a while? Or
no, so Evan's a good friend of mine, and if you are looking to spearfish for bluefin, it is the boat and the only boat to go with. He has everything. He has float lines, floats. He has 4 bombers on the boat, along with 3 Baja Specials. Like, all the guns, all the equipment is there for you to use, and not only do you have all the equipment to make sure you take down one of these fish, but you have an extremely intelligent and calculated captain that knows how to drive you into bluefin. Yeah. I mean, that's what you pay for. And then the gears that comes along. So we did like a partnership where I gave him guns to use on the boat, which is great because if people want to buy a gun for themselves, they can go on his boat, charter it, use those guns, try them, say, oh, I like that gun, but I want it a little different, and come to me and have it made.
Nice.
Specifically for them.
So that was the one, because I think I went out with you guys after I met that one time, and I remember I was going to go back out, and it didn't end up working out because the fish moved so far offshore, and it was like, it's going to cost a little more, and then like a couple of my buddies bailed out, and it was like, damn. But one thing I remember, and I've learned from now that I have my own boat over the years, is that diving for bluefin is, it's not that hard.
It's not hard.
All up to the boat driver.
It's all up to the boat driver. Well, I would say it's 75% boat setup and then 25% diver.
Yeah,
and the reason why I say 25
too, as far as landing it though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, equipment is so important. Like going
people
out there,
go after those things with like 2 and 3 bands, and I'm like, no, dude.
Yeah, you're not going to penetrate.
My friend
fish.
pulled out an 11-liter raw Ballon float. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
Yeah. Have the proper equipment is like so important, unless you're just going there to injure fish and
waste and lose all your gear.
Lose your gear, spend more money, whatever the case may be. Just have the right gear. And there's the bluefin acts so differently every day, so there's so many different tactics that you have to know driving into these fish, not into them, but setting yourself up for these fish. I mean, it's
I think I remember reading somewhere they're one of the smarter fish, and I believe it. Every school is different, every day is different, every hour within that day can be different too.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable how like when one day you could drive on top of them, jump in and shoot whatever you wanted, or like they just wouldn't get spooked. They were going super slow, just spinning. Or the next day, you can't get within 400 yards.
Yeah.
Or you can see they're everywhere, and it's like whack-a-mole, you know? Like, oh, there.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to shut the boat down. Like, so what are some tactics that you guys use to, that you know of?
So, like, if you are your own boat driver, I tell this to people all the time. Never be afraid to leave fish and go find other fish. Because if you're going to sit on one school and they're just not cooperating with you, don't spend your whole day on that school. Go find other fish. And that's what we do a lot.
So that's interesting.
Spend 2, maybe 3 times trying to get on a single school, and then after that, we're gone.
So there was always a rule in fishing, right? Never leave fish to find fish.
Yeah.
And it's funny you say that, because that's what I always say. Never leave fish to find fish.
Yeah.
But when it comes to diving on bluefin, every school is different.
Yeah.
And if you can't, you're wasting your time.
You're wasting your time. You're going to do the same thing over and over and over again. And then you're just going to push those fish out further and further and further. So it's pointless to stick with those fish and hope that one time they're going to cooperate with you, which most likely will not happen.
You say cooperate, like what do you mean, like to people that don't know?
Cooperate, I would say, is swim in the direction that you expect them to be and not change a direction or sink out.
Yeah.
So foamers or puddling fish a lot of the time are finicky or in a frenzy eating bait, and they can be easy to get up on. But if you keep driving on the fish and they keep sinking out on you and going in a direction that you have no idea that they're at, stop chasing that fish and go find new fish. If they're not letting you within 100 yards, sending a diver a 100 yard swim 3 times, they're going to be done. Yeah. So it's like pointless to keep doing it. Well, and then once you get there,
I'm out of shape, dude. Like I can't dive. I can dive to 30 feet. Like, oh my God. We were at San Clemente Island 2 weeks ago, and if we were going out there to dive for yellowtail just to go dive. You know, and my friend wanted me to take him out there, and I was like, yeah, I'll take you out there. So we went out there, and we were on Pyramid Reef, probably in like 300 feet of water, 200, 300 feet of water. I mean, we were on like right off the island. And all of a sudden, I was like, I didn't go out there, but I always bring a big setup because you never know. I remember looking out there, and I'm like, is that yellowtail blowing up on the surface? No, that's a 100-pound bluefin, you know? And it was so close to the island, and it was like, you know how it is, like, there's nobody around? Yeah. And I get all giddy. I'm like, there's nobody around, nobody knows. It's ours, it's all ours, you know? And so we finally, like, got all our shit together, and
try to change gears.
Yeah, and you know, and get all ready, and then we start going, and I told my friend, I'm like, okay, trying to give him a real brief thing of like, okay, we're gonna eat. They're on the surface now, so. But the thing is, it's like the tip of the iceberg. So the ones you see on the surface, there's a lot more around there. It's just, you know, you don't see them. So turn the meter on. But then, oh, by the way, the meter can scare them sometimes. I've heard that. Like, I haven't seen it. Yeah, because the acoustics, right? I've heard that. Like when you turn the boat off, and you like some people.
And you're still running it or something like that. You might as well just turn the boat off, turn the meter off. If you want to just try to get them when they're blowing up around there, you can try that. You can turn. So anyways, long story short, like, oh, they're over there, like 100 yards from it. I'm like, okay, cool. And my buddy had never done it before. It's like, I'll drive. You guys know what you're doing. I'm like, okay, cool. Just turn the boat off and just chill right here. We're going to go out there and see if we can get one. Because they were like, looked like they were cooperating. They really weren't that skittish, but they were in a frenzy, you know. You know, of course, what happens, you kick out 100 meters. You're like spy hopping the whole time trying to see. Yeah. And I was like, where are they? To my buddy, he doesn't know. And he's like, okay, just keep going. I'm like, okay. And then he's like, hey, they're back here at the boat. They're blowing up all around the boat. And those guys like disappeared. So then we turn around and kick back to the boat, see like the streaks, you know, dive down. Unless I knew they were about 100 pounds, dive down. And I just saw one of them coming like probably like 20 knots, man, just like a bullet, and did like an L around me, like just gone. Like didn't want any part of it. And I was like, man, I've had, you know, been vortex about like 200-pound bluefin where they just like circle around you all. Check you out.
Just mellow. Not these ones. These guys were racing.
Hungry. That's all they wanted to do is eat.
And they were flying, and we did that twice of that whole thing. I couldn't get a shot off. Couldn't get a shot off. But I was like, okay, I saw 3. You know what? This year, that's the most bluefin I've seen underwater at this point. Like, I'm stoked for that. Okay, cool. And then we decided we did it for another half hour of doing the whack-a-mole, trying to like get on fish. And I was like, what are we doing? I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I'm not doing the bluefin bounce, I call it, like just bouncing everywhere, like spinning gas. I was like, dude, let's go. We're at the island. Let's just dive the island, you know? So we did that. But yeah, friggin' bluefin, dude.
Yeah, they will drive you crazy.
But there's like so much meat on those things, too.
There's so much meat, and they're so good to eat, and that belly cut. If you haven't had like toro, right? Like fresh.
Yeah.
Not from a sushi bar.
No, it is and I, you know, for the longest time I didn't even like fish that much, which is kind of funny. Everybody laughs about it. I was like, no, whatever. I just like hunting. I like to try the hunt. I had that toro years ago. My buddy shot like, you know, in 2015, I think, 2016, shot like a 210. My buddy Hobby, and I had that toro, that belly meat, and it was the one thing that I was like, holy shit, that's literally like just the consistency of butter. Yeah. You put in your mouth, and it's so good. And
so rich.
Yeah, and I had...
So you eat too much and you get the shits?
Yeah. That's funny enough.
I call it tuna drunk. You eat too much and it puts you in like this exhaustion coma.
Oh, I don't even know if it's that or the mercury that's like poisoning your body. But like my wife was like, what's your mercury levels at? And I was down in Guam, like shooting the dog tooth and stuff. Yeah. I was like, I don't know. I have like just lived off fish. Like, but yeah, it's delicious, man. It really lives up to the hype. It's a good fish.
It does. It totally does.
Yeah.
But just keep learning with bluefin, man. Just keep learning.
Yeah, and the only way to learn is to go out. Go out and beat your head against the wall. Yeah. Talk to people. But I mean, literally, I learned. We must have went out 30 times last year. I got 3 bluefin all in a week.
I had an A team that I went out with all 30 times. I remember that week. And between all of us, I mean, we were shooting like 30. All of us shot between 30 tuna that last season each.
Wow.
But it was like we had the A team. All of us knew how to drive. Yeah. All of us knew how to manage lines. All of us knew how to dive for these fish. It was just
that's perfect too.
Running machine. And we killed it. I mean, I shot like 38, 39 tuna last season.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. 3, 4 over 200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of meat.
A lot of meat. A lot of people got really, really used to eating bluefin and poke bowls. And then this season, everyone's like, oh, where's all the meat? And I'm like, I didn't have the season I had last year. But,
well, and it's funny because I remember there was that week there where I think it was Austin Deary, I think Ryan Moore might have too, and Brandon Wallers, and then you guys. I think it was like, I don't know, you know how it is, the network, but like everybody gets the call, dude, it's happening. Yeah. San Clemente Island, 300 pounders, you can jump right in and shoot them.
Yeah. And Evan shot a fish that was over 300 pounds last season.
Yeah, and I remember that day where he was like, I was like, we gotta go. We gotta go. Like, it happens now. Like, there's that week where it all comes together, and like for me, it was the same thing. Like,
and we were out there. We were sleeping at the island. We woke up and it was 6:30 in the morning, and Evan got his first tuna at 6:30, and we finished by 5:30 at night with limits of fish over 200 pounds.
Well, it's funny because that's a lot of weight in a boat too.
So we were driving back.
Yeah.
I would say it was like 5,200 RPMs. Down swell, and we were doing about 14 knots because we had
in the Glacier Bay. Was
in the Glacier Bay? Yeah, we had 1,300 pounds of bluefin in the back of the boat.
Yeah,
the boat was 6 inches below water level. It was like just fat heavy. We all brought our big coffin kill bags. We had 280 pounds of ice. Like, we were just so set and so ready to be able to do this, and it just was one of those.
So who was your A team?
My A team was a guy named Dalton Best.
Yeah.
And Evan Wagley. And we just killed it last season.
Yeah.
And then there was times that I would take out some like other friends, like some newer guys or whatnot. But
But it's
for
really
the
about
most part,
efficiency,
what we
though,
want.
huh? It's all efficiency.
We're all efficiency.
Yeah.
Like we don't fight. Everything runs smoothly. We all know that everyone on the boat has a task to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, fighting 6 fish over 200 pounds is a lot of work. And
it's
to
exhausting.
do it, yeah, we just had all the right gear, and everyone had the same setup, same guns.
So what would be your ideal gear for fighting bluefin?
An ideal gear is a 100-foot bungee with
Any particular kind of bungee though you like, or just a bungee line?
the dark water bungees, or the Neptonic ones are good. The dark water ones are a little bit better for that grade of bluefin because it doesn't bottom out as easy as the Neptonics one, and that wears out the fish twice as fast. Like
when you say it doesn't bottom out, it means there's more stretch to it.
There's more stretch to it, so it's not as easy to stretch. I don't know the actual weights of full extension. I would say like the Neptonics is maybe 60 pounds of pull at full extension.
Yeah.
Where that float line bottoms out, and then I would say the dark water ones is maybe 50% more. So it's probably upwards to 100 pounds of pressure, which in the beginning it's light, and then the more you take out, the more pressure it puts on the fish, but it just wears it out a lot faster. And if you are confident with the rest of your gear and your line and your shot placement, then you don't really have to worry about it. Like you get full penetration with 800 pound Spectra, and then you're running 680 pound shooting line, not cable, and that's the thing with the cable is there's no stretch. It's dangerous. It's heavy. You can't cut it if you're carrying shears on you or something like that. But why not find something that's just as thick, lighter, cuts through the water better,
it's not going to be hanging up on a reef.
Pounds.
I don't understand. Like the cable thing is great for like coral reefs.
That dark water line is so abrasive resistant. It's unbelievable. It's the best line on the market right now.
I'm going to say this little shout out to the dark water guys, but Matt, and I haven't got, he's supposed to be, I think he's going to make me some flow lines, but I haven't gotten anything from him yet. But I make all my own gear because kind of what you're talking about. I want to know when I pull the trigger,
you can rely on that.
Nothing is going to fail. I over engineer everything, right? Yeah. But what I found was funny, just looking at the pictures and talking to Matt too, and looking at the pictures going, dude, he has the same shit I do. Like if I was going to make that, there's no stronger way to make that. Yeah. Like that's what I would do.
And Matt tests his product, and Matt shoots more bluefin than more 200-pound bluefin than pretty much anyone in California. The guys put his gear through years and years on the same line, and his stuff doesn't break. And he has 270-pound fish on the deck in like less than 40 minutes. So
wow, yeah,
the efficiency and the proper gear is so important. And he has.
How about floats? What do you do for floats?
Floats, I use, my personal thing I use is one of those 3 atmosphere JBL. It's kind of like the concept of gannets, but it sinks a lot better than a gannet. It's smaller, it's a little more narrow, and it's a little bit more pinned in the front.
Meaning that it
takes in case it does, it takes off a little bit of pressure. You don't want to blunt force when that fish bottoms out your float line, and then now you're just on straight line. People don't think that, they think just because you have a bungee.
It's the dynamic load though.
Yeah, exactly. You're hitting like a brick.
Yeah.
Essentially. So you want something that's going to cut through the water fast and sink if that's how your setup is. My setup's a little different. I run a 15-liter 3-atmosphere float, 10 feet down from that puts 33 pounds of pressure on the fish. So I have super heavy bungee line with a 33 pounds, and by the time that fish hits the second full-size float, it doesn't go under.
It's just tired.
It'll go under for about 10 seconds and pop right back, and I can start working on that fish right away.
Yeah. Do you use a clutch too?
I do use clutches, yeah. I don't use...
tuna clips?
I mean, tuna clips are great. They
yeah, but I just don't like straighten out though. I don't like grabbing that little thing, like tires my hands out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Then I gotta go like this, like to
whatever doesn't make you tired, whatever you can stay and do that's comfortable for you. And then switching your lines. If you're hunting bluefin, don't run mono, don't run cable. Just use 680 pound. Dark water Dyneema cable or dark water Dyneema line. Yeah. It's 680 pounds. With the right knots, it will break. Yeah. It's not going to break. Right. It's stronger than mono. It's stronger than cable. Cable's
it's funny
500
to me
pounds.
You hear people, they're like, I've got 2,000 pound Spectra inside my float line, all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, but you're running, mono, 400 pound mono. So your shit's only as strong as your 400 pound mono. Yeah.
Or your connections.
And mono's good because it stretches. However, like you said, connections. Like,
weakest point on every float line is going to be a connection point.
Yeah. And Chris Coates in South Africa, he was talking to my friend quite extensively, and he believes in knots. He's like, if I tell you right knot, I know it's not going to be. Any fish over 300 pounds, a knot will not, any connection, I don't care what it is, will fail.
I do a crimp and then a knot after the crimp.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And I just cover it with shrink wrap. So I have 2 points of locking that line into place. If one fails, that knot's right there.
Again, it's what you're talking about, man. It's like what I always say. Like, I want to pull the trigger, and I want to know once that I hit that thing, it's over. Yeah. I got this fucker. Yeah. Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, yeah, exactly. I mean, why would you... Yeah, I don't want to lose the fish of my dreams because I've had friends with floats. They buy floats off the internet, and they look like they had fishing line inside them. Snap, And... for you guys that haven't shot really big fish, it's probably one of the most humbling experiences in your life when you see how strong a 200-pound fish is, and let alone even like with the dog tooth. I was humbled after even shooting big bluefin and then going and hunting a dog tooth, and you see a dog tooth pull a big diver R float. It's like 200 pounds positive or something. This giant diver R float, pull it down. And it popped back up, but a 70-pound fish just pulled that down, and then fought and I was like, "Holy shit, man! Like, it's humbling. You better have your shit together when you go. Otherwise, it's disrespectful to the fish. It's disrespectful. Like, it's just dangerous, you're just wasting stuff. Like, so just, I always hunt with these giant guns, and everybody laughs because I want to know no matter what I come across, I'm going to take it. Yeah,
full penetration every time. Yeah. And I always do. I always, get into arguments or have discussions with people on why you don't bring baby guns to
Don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah. It's stupid. And it's like, just be prepared.
Well, even guys now, I see guys like, oh, a reel. You know? They put reels and they go after tunas. Yeah. And you're like...
Why?
That's dumb.
Yeah. Like, oh, cool! Because I shot, I shot a tuna on a reel, and then now I get to post it on social media, and
I get sometimes that happens. I sometimes that happens because you're on a kelp patty, you're not expecting.
If landing that fish is not enough for you, and that you have to get gratification through your followers on Instagram, you should take. Someone should take your dive card from you and never be able to dive again. You have some insecurity problems. Sorry.
I mean, I've done it myself where I was out diving and didn't expect a big fish.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I pulled the trigger, and luckily I landed. Right. Luckily I landed, but
I immediately knew it was a foolish, stupid idea. Yeah. Once I did it, and I felt bad because I put all my friends in jeopardy. We were talking about tuna gear. So what? Your bomber series, that's your tuna gun.
Yeah, bomber or the double roller.
So my question is, I noticed with your bigger guns, and most of your guns, you do the individual holes rather than just the cutout. Why is that?
Because you don't lose any band stretch. I mean, to fit your bands in a single slot requires you to cut a bigger slot than it's actually needed when that band is pulled tight. So all my bands are in the same place from each slot, and it's just a little bit stronger. Guys can beat the gun up a little bit more. You break or crack a single band slot, and then you're basically racking that gun up for, the boneyard. You're not going to be using it again unless you try to fix it or whatnot. But it's a little bit more structurally sound, and the bands just stay in the same place every time, and you don't get cross-ups. Loading bands. You ever loaded, a 3-band slot and 2 of your bands like crossover, crisscross in that single slot?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It's all about efficiency,
Right. That makes sense.
Everything is clean, basic.
Yeah. My last gun I made, I kind of copied what you did, and I did 3 bands, but there's just 3 holes, and it makes it really easy.
It's easy.
What happens, I have a 5-band gun that's just a giant slot that I made like 18 years ago, and it just all gets jumbled up in there, and you're like guessing, you just in the back, you're trying to guess which one to like line them up, and finally I'm like, fuck it, I'll just load them up, whatever happens. But it also, that puts a lot of stress in the vertical direction too, on the wood versus,
and depending on how narrow you make that,
right, it'll split it, pop it off. Yeah.
So more structure and simplifying it to make it easier for the user. Even though most of the users that are shooting my guns at this are educated on diving or know what they're doing, but it's just nice to make things more simple.
Right.
So you take out the guesswork when you're diving. Efficiency is, and less room for error. Nice.
So, oh man, the guns. So what else over the years have you changed? Have you kind of realized? Because I remember looking at some of your earlier pictures when you first started making guns on your Instagram.
Just big square blocks.
Yeah, which is what I did too as well back in the day. And then like now, what were some like things that you realized were really nice that you liked?
I just wanted to build a gun that was simple, functional, shot straight. Even if you decide to overpower it, the consumer is going to change their bands to whatever they like. Some people run really heavy bands, some people run light bands, some people run small IDs, whatever. Every band diameter, size changes the way your gun's going to shoot. So with the enclosed track, which all my guns have, I don't do any open shacks. You don't ever have to worry about your shaft changing the direction with overload. It's going the same point every time. You're just going to add the amount of recoil that you have on your gun depending on what band you have on there. So I simplified that. I tapered the muzzle a lot to be a trackable big gun. I love big guns. I don't build really any small guns. I build even my 3-band reef hunting guns are 55 inches, which is essentially like a 140 or something.
I'm kind of smiling and laughing inside because every time I try to make a small gun, it ends up being fucking huge. Yeah. Like the last gun, I was like, I'll make a smaller, like more like a Rife 110 or 130, like just longs. It ends up again being some like, yay thick. Yeah. But like they're pretty accurate. I don't know. I just always dove with bigger guns. Yeah. And loading was never a problem because I'm tall, so it's easy for me to load. But
you practice with that tool that you're using, you're gonna get used to it and adapt to it and figure out what works. And like the mid handle, a lot of people don't like mid handles, but I would say a mid handle is way more of an extension of your arm when you're shooting. Yeah. If you ever heard that saying. Yep. Than a rear handle. Because you have so much more control when that handle is adjusted midway up the gun. Yeah. And then the rear handle, you're just relying all on that placement where you pushed out your gun and then trying to redirect it.
Which doesn't happen.
Which doesn't happen. So it's all push-pull.
Yeah, my first gun was a mid-handle, and then and it's like just a cannon. It's like 55-inch, 60-inch, but it's just like boom, you know? But this last gun I made because I don't have a lot of trust in what I'm doing as far as putting mid handles in. Like I never did it. And I was like, I just want to keep it simple. And I did the 3-banded, but it's 64 inches. But I know I have to keep the gun back, see my fish, bring it up, and shoot. If I sit here with it out, forget about it. Like it better be close, or it's almost like I'm throwing the gun at it because there's no way. But it shoots like a laser. It does. Yeah. But I just have to learn.
But with bluefin, you press a gun, It's going to push those fish out. Almost every time you press a gun out, it pushes the fish out. I always tell divers just to keep your arms extended, keep that gun out, and then wait for one to line up. You're moving up and down. You're not swinging your gun side to side.
Yeah.
Just keep
Especially
it out.
those
Fish are going to
guns.
come in faster.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like trying to move a big gun, like, it's a pain. Like you're trying to track the fish.
Yeah.
If they're moving,
I don't track.
I don't
For the
track
most
at
part,
all.
I don't track. There's a couple of videos out there of me shooting fish, swinging in a gun, pulling the trigger, but I know my gun. I've shot it over and over and over again.
Well, because what people, with the velocity of the shaft and the size of the projectile thing, just like coming out with spear guns, as you're moving that thing, as it's coming out, you're still influencing that spear slightly.
Absolutely,
and you can
resistance
throw that
of
trajectory
water.
totally off.
Yeah.
So I just try, like I said, bring it up, shoot, or like you said, have it out there and wait, boom, go.
Yeah, slight adjustments. So, I built the guns to be bulletproof and just easy for consumer. I mean, the other thing that I did change a lot, I made quite a few guns that were equally buoyant, and I have this discussion with a lot of people, and then I try to change their mind on it. When you're carrying around a 65 to 72 inch gun and your gun is negatively buoyant, you're just exerting your body, because you're trying to hold that gun the entire time. The second you press it, you're trying to hold it. So why not have a gun that is literally 1 ounce positive, which is the weight of this 16th inch drill bit,
Yeah.
Tiny, where you could put your finger on it and press it down.
Yeah.
That's how much buoyant it is. But then when it's a little bit positive with the shaft in and this huge gun managing it to getting to those fish, because when are you ever just sitting on a reef and diving? You know? Never.
Not with a gun that big.
Not with a gun that big.
Yeah.
So it's nice to just have a gun that is going to follow you with the least amount of resistance. If your gun is negative, you're constantly holding that thing up. The second that muzzle falls, you're trying to pull the muzzle back up to keep swimming towards the bluefin.
Well, what I found too is that if your gun's negative, especially even in the muzzle, when you hold it out and it's 72 inches, like it's a pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass to manage.
Try to get it I've always liked them kind of neutral and float when the shaft's out.
Always float when the shaft's out.
Yeah, it's usually how I do it, is just neutral. Even if it's, like you said, I mean, probably slightly positive actually, where the nose or the ass just floats up.
Yep.
And I guess that goes back to everybody's like, oh, your guns are all big, but I don't know any different, and I never really noticed it, because I don't feel like I'm having to, except for the hydrodynamics of it, I'll say, like that's when I feel like moving it down, like, where it's
pressing
like,
it,
through the water, it feels heavy. But when I dive, I literally just have the thing in front of me, and it's pretty streamlined, and we just dive down, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I just keep it back. When I have to move it out, it feels heavy. But then again, like that
you get used to
it.
It's funny. There was a customer that bought a gun, and I made the mistake of not telling him that's the way I usually will build them if no one says anything. And it was my fault for not mentioning it to him. But he didn't actually recognize that it was positive until one day he just let it go. And then he's like, oh, it like floated up next to me like 3 minutes later when I was doing a breathe up. I was like, so you're saying like it took 3 minutes to come to the surface at 60 feet? Like that's hardly buoyant. So a lot of people don't notice until they just let their gun go.
Or what happens when you drop your gun overboard or something happens?
Exactly. $1,600 minimum. I mean, gone.
I would be weeping.
Yeah.
It's nice. It doesn't make any difference. It's only positive, I feel like.
Exactly. I feel like there's
like,
more pros than cons having your gun slightly benefit. I'm not talking a lot. I mean,
right. But I mean,
enough to where you don't notice.
Right. You could make a good argument for it being neutral, positive, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
And then neutral, depending on where you dive, if you're diving here in California, is going to make a huge difference if your gun is neutral here versus down in Panama.
Yeah.
Because Panama,
salinity.
the salt salinity is higher.
Yeah.
So you're going to have more buoyancy down there.
Right.
So if you make a gun that's,
So a dive in the Persian Gulf, it's 44 parts per million. It's like the saltiest down water. It burns your eyes. And you float like a cork.
That's probably so bad.
It's so bad. But it's just funny because, everything is so positive, man. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm not just talking about just like doing this for just bluefin. I mean, most yellowfin hunting that you do, if it's big game, you're sitting there, you're resting, you're doing a breathe up, you're putting out a chum line for these yellowfin to come up. Sitting there and trying to manage a 6-foot gun at the same time as doing a nice chum line, you're just exerting yourself. You're using more energy than you need instead of just being able to tuck that thing under your arm and just sit there.
As far as the diving goes too, when you're breathing up, I mean, just strictly free diving, you are supposed to be relaxing every single muscle in your body, and that's hard enough to do on your own.
Yeah.
Let alone relax every single muscle except your forearm and your grip when you're trying to hold a gun up from falling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're fighting
like,
that gun.
dude, I just want to basically like just have it sitting next to me and I'm just barely touching it, going into my moment to like dive.
Yeah.
Because it's weird spearfishing, but like diving enough, free diving, it made me realize truly how important a good 2-minute breathe up, if you can do it, like there's not fish going all around you, just going, you know what I mean? But like how important that is in order to really get a good dive where you feel relaxed and comfortable and actually can enjoy the dive versus just like a means to an end, which usually is how it is for me. Like if you're a really competitive person, like my friend was telling me back when I was learning how to dive, he's like, if you're a real competitive person, like we are, we're dangerous people, like naturally, because you want to push yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's very dangerous, like to dive, that way. All right. So okay. So we've talked about the guns. What do you think would be places you've traveled and trips you've gone on? Like, what do you think? Where have you gone? First of all, like on all your trips, have you traveled much? Or?
I've been quite a few. Well, a little bit. Yeah, I've done Belize, done. Caribbean side of Mexico, Pacific side of Mexico.
Yeah.
Puerto Vallarta. I really love diving out there.
At Puerto Vallarta.
Oh yeah.
Why
super
is that?
fun. Punta Mita.
Yeah. With
clear.
Malibu John.
Yeah,
is that
Malibu
the guy?
John,
Yeah.
It's clear diving. It's kind of like lazy diving for really rewarding fish. So
I love that.
Love it. Belize is really cool. It's super clear. Yeah, it's deep diving.
Belize is?
Yeah, for the good game fish, it's deep. Belize has a ton of boat traffic, so you definitely want to be diving with an experienced boat driver and a float at all times, because the people down there, that's what they know divers as, of always having a float.
Yeah.
So,
is it people just transiting from all the different little islands and stuff?
They're
just water people.
I mean, they have water taxis that take you from resort to resort, and everything's done by boat there, pretty much. So they have one road that you take, and that's on golf carts. But that was a pretty cool place. Kauai was nice.
Yeah, Kauai is great.
Yeah.
Did you see Alan when you were there?
I did.
Yeah,
it was super funny. I went to check in some equipment at the dive shop in Kappa, and Alan was just sitting there. It was like actually the first time we actually met in person, so it was really cool.
He's a good dude.
He's a super nice guy.
It's Alan from Longfins.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's an online dive store in Kauai, or out of Kauai, I guess I could say. So how did you just know him just from talking?
Yeah, we talked on social media.
Yeah.
I told I just put a shout out there that I was going to be coming out, and he was generous enough to reach out to me and offer a day of diving. And
cool, yeah.
I ended up being super busy with my wife, so I didn't end up going.
I feel bad because it's funny because I ran into him. I was like on the way to the airport or something, and I was like, yeah, one of the guys that's like, my wife's like, what? You never met this dude before? I'm like, no, I was just talking to her social media.
Yeah.
She's like, Well, I'm gonna meet him at the McDonald's in I think it was Kapaa or something.
Yeah, Kapaa.
Yeah, at the McDonald's or something. I think it was maybe it was somewhere else. And sure enough, he's just chilling out there in his truck. I was like, Alan? He's like, yeah, what's up? What's up? And he gave me a nice care pack. It was just so great. It was just like true aloha, you know?
Yeah.
I just loved it.
He was, yeah.
I loved it.
Absolutely.
Such a good guy.
Yeah.
So he wants to go get bluefin next summer.
And I don't know if you contacted him since I've been back, but we talked bluefin for like 2 hours.
Yeah, I think you told me that. Yeah.
So when I was in the shop, I basically convinced him that he just has to come out.
Yeah.
Don't worry about all the gear. I got your gear. Just come out and shoot bluefin with us.
Oh, my wife had to be like, baby, we're going to be late. Like,
yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like all the kids are in the car. It's just funny. I was like, yeah, sorry.
2 hours later.
I told him because I got a boat now. I'm co-owner in a boat. And I was like, man, come out. We'll go. I'll just do it. You know? But yeah, it was awesome.
He's a really good dude.
Yeah.
Same with the guys at that dive shop in Kapaa.
Kapaa Divers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They're super cool too.
Yeah,
I
they're
went in there.
Super nice. Took care of me when I didn't bring some gear. They have everything that you need there.
Did you dive in Kauai? You did dive in Kauai?
Just freed up. I didn't actually go spearfishing. For some odd reason, my wife just found like a little passion for diving when she was out there. Probably because the water is super warm and clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was fun for me to actually get to dive with her, and I didn't need to shoot fish because most of the places we're diving in were all protected and high
down
population of fish. We were on the North Shore.
Oh, okay, that's in Princeville area.
Yeah. That's where we stayed in Princeville and worked our way up north a little further and dove at like tunnels and.
Dude, how was tunnels?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there was.
It's a scary reef. Huh?
3 foot. Yeah.
It's so good. That's just the edge of the world. You just feel like you're on the edge of the world out there.
Yeah, it just drops.
Yeah.
So
cool.
That was a good reef. So.
Yeah, I took my son out there. That's where we have a little spot at Anini Beach that I like to take him because it's only like he's not the greatest diver, you know, but it's only like 25 feet deep, I think, maybe at the channel there, and I just take him there. It's a good current. And I remember I was there probably like 10 years ago. I think he was a year and a half old. Oh, no, more than that, I guess now. 12 years ago, and there was some ulu that came screaming in by me. I was down hiding behind this coral head trying to get these big parrotfish to come in, and they're all smart there, you know, because they're always hunted. So I was like hanging out. I was like down there for like a minute. Protected. Yeah, and I was like, okay. And then like, what was it? It was it's just see the fish all dart one way, you know. And I was like, oh, what the hell's coming down this channel now? Because it wasn't the greatest viz at the time. And then I see these two big ulu come screaming in the, you know,
chasing bayfish.
Yeah, chasing bayfish or something. I was just like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Because we don't see that here, so like.
No, we just go to hunt most of the time.
Yeah, and so I was just down there diving with my son, and I was just like, wow, so cool. I love it.
Change the pace.
Yeah.
Just watch what was doing. And I was going down and, you know, doing some like noises at the bottom, throwing up dust and just watching fish come straight up to me. And my wife's just like so stoked to see these fish follow us around for.
I think that's the coolest thing about having the experience that we have is you get to share it with other people, especially like when you have your family and like they're like, you know, then your kids are like, oh, dad's crazy, you know, but I'm like, look, come here, I'm going to show you something, you know, like there's a shark here. And like my youngest is like, great white, we're going to get eaten, you know, freaking out. And I was like, no, you get, they're chill, they're fine, you know, and it's like, just changes their whole mind. Like,
I got to swim with a shark.
It's just a fish, you know, it's fine. Yeah.
And it's really rewarding for them. I mean, that's like something they'll never forget.
Right.
That you got to do that with them. And it's such a different experience than you can explain to other people. Oh, what? You're diving on one breath, swimming with sharks, you know. It's
I love it, man. I love diving.
It's a great sport.
It's, you know, it's not even just dive, just being in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking forward to driving home today and go hopefully paddle out. There's some waves. It's a beautiful day. The visibility was really good yesterday. I did a little dive in my little local spot at home yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Lots of sheep's head. And I don't really shoot sheep's head usually. Unless I need some ceviche, but I got a freezer full of fish. So I was actually going to shoot one. Thinking about shooting a bigger one to do a taste test with local friends of like sheep's head and yellowtail ceviche. Because I have like this big thing going where like I had yellowtail ceviche.
You don't notice it?
it changed my life too. Yellowtail ceviche is so good.
Oh, you noticed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we
probably the texture.
Yeah, and then so I wanted to do that and be like, okay, what do you think? Like to other people, get as many people, because everybody's so used to having sheep's head ceviche for so long, you know.
A friend of mine did that with fish dip. The guys in Florida, Dalton makes like an amazing fish dip, but it's usually smoked and then broken down with a bunch of different stuff in it. And he did it, I can't remember, I think it was with sheep's head and then yellowtail. To be honest, I couldn't notice the difference, even in texture, just because it was so smoked and cooked.
Right.
But it tastes great.
There's another good thing. I thought about doing like a recipe thing on my website, where I just have like my favorite recipes or something, because my buddy does like this really good where he slices it really thin, like fish jerky, you know, and then smokes it. But you obviously marinate it and all that, and teriyaki and all that stuff, and then like, dude, it just literally tastes like fish jerky. It's so good.
Sounds amazing.
And again, like for someone that's never really liked fish that much, which is comical, but like what I've learned from my other friends that are like really good cooks is like how to cook fish so that you and your family like it. Like, cause I feel like
enjoy it.
It's
There's always a way.
It's supposed to be the fish that you take. You're supposed to enjoy it. And I always felt weird about that. Whitefish, yeah.
Whitefish.
California uku, yeah.
I mean, find some any kind of whitefish or white meat.
Yeah.
Do a light, batter with coconut.
Coconut flakes.
Yeah, the coconut flakes on it, and then fry it. Oh my gosh! I had cubera in Puerto Vallarta from a restaurant like that, and it was the most phenomenal thing with a mango salsa. It was. You can wrap that. Yeah. You can wrap any fish in that. It was just.
Sounds good.
It was so good.
Yeah, the thing is, I want to get it to where like I was doing fish sticks with certain things, like even bonito, like fish sticks. You bleed the bonito immediately. A lot of people don't eat it, but if you bleed it immediately, cook it, it's good.
Yeah, you could get like 12 hours in it.
Yeah. And so you went to, when you were talking about Puerto Vallarta, like what did you get when you were down there?
There was.
I saw a wahoo. It looks like you got a wahoo or.
Wahoo. Evan and Dalton both got wahoos. Dalton and Evan both got. This was the second time when we went down. It was really slow.
But you went down there for your bachelor party, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
For like 10 days. Spoiled.
Wow.
It was a badass bachelor party, but yeah, my wife's pissed. She's like, "Well, I get like 3 days in wine country. This sucks."
I was gonna say that probably costs a little bit more than 3 days in wine country.
Well, Mexico's good if you do it right. I mean, we fished on the boat for 3 or 4 days, I think it was, and we got like cubera, rainbow runners.
Yeah,
those were pretty good. Runner. Yeah,
that's like sashimi. Those things are just like yellowtail. It's so good.
Yeah. What else did we get?
Cool fish, cool looking fish. How big were the rainbow runners?
They're pretty small. I'd say 5 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen rainbow runners that would probably break a world record for sure.
And in Guam?
In Guam when I was down on the reef, I was like, "Is that a shark?" It was rolling next to the dog tooth. Next to the shark, there was 2 of them. I would say they were probably about 4 feet long, maybe.
Yeah, and they're thin fish too, so 4 feet.
They were big, man.
That's cool.
My buddy shot one and it tore off, and then but yeah, the biggest one I've ever got was like 10 pounds.
Yeah, the biggest one I shot down there was like 5 pounds.
Yeah, but that was I was like, damn, that's a big ass. Actually.
But every night we would bring our fish to the restaurant. The restaurant would cook it, bring us all the side plates, and it was.
Did you book that through a travel thing, or you just hooked
No, through Malibu John.
Malibu John.
Yeah, he sets kind of everything up. He has all the connections. Okay. He's got the boat.
We'll put the link to that on here too. Like I'll try to.
Yeah. We'll put his social media tag on.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I appreciate you meeting me, man. I know you got to fly. This
is great.
I could talk to you for hours about this stuff. Yeah.
Gun building's awesome. So thanks for everyone for listening. Thanks for having me on your show. Yeah,
and check out Nick at Nitro Gun Co. And I'll put all your social media stuff and your website and everything on there. Awesome. Yeah, and if you guys have any questions about the guns or our products, feel free to reach out. Awesome. So thank you guys. That includes it. Wow, we got